Now, from Killiney in County Dublin, my next guest has been acting since the age of 11. Since then, he's enjoyed roles in numerous television productions and movies, including Rome, The Tudors, Love is the Drug, and more recently, Downton Abbey, where his portrayal of the impeccably dressed chauffeur Branson made him an instant heartthrob. Have a look at this. Would you welcome, please, Alan Leech, ladies and gentlemen.
Baby, you can drive my car. You know I'm gonna be a star. Baby, you can drive my car. Baby, I love you. Baby,
Alan, did I detect a little smirk on your face during the filming of that scene? What were you having a little laugh at there?
That scene took an extra 4.5 hours to film.
Why?
Because Big Jim Carter, who plays Carson,
With the voice.
Big Jim,
Yes.
he couldn't help but say, instead of leave an address, he said, leave an address. So we were all like, what a weird Downton custom. You know? Like, you've been fired. If you wouldn't mind taking the corset of shame, putting it on, and walking out of Highclere, that'd be great. Yeah.
Leave an address.
So it took 4.5 hours because that was the second last day of filming the second series, and everyone was giddy anyway.
Okay.
Anytime he said it, so.
Okay,
yeah,
good stuff. Now, Downton Abbey has been such a phenomenal success, but there are those who don't watch it, so to bring them into the room and into the loop, try and explain it to an alien. You know.
Okay.
What is it?
Downton Abbey is a show based in a house in the country in England. In 1910 it starts, and it's about a family, the Earl of Grantham,
Yes.
and his family, but more importantly it's also about the servants who work there.
So there are those upstairs and there are those beneath
Downstairs.
the stairs.
We don't say that.
I know we don't, that's
exactly.
why I was using it. I was careful about the terminology, but you get the idea. Why so popular?
I don't know. Julian Fellows, who writes it, would probably have the...
Great writer.
Yeah, great writer. And he won the Oscar for Gosford Park. And I think he even says he's not sure of why it's so successful, but one thing that he says maybe lends itself to popularity is the fact that it's not just about the people upstairs, it's also equally about the people downstairs.
Yeah.
So there's a story about everyone, and you never feel, you know, I'd love to know what that maid does now, because what you see is Julian gives you that, and you see her life, and you see the life of everyone who makes this house work, and it all looks like a swan upstairs, elegant and graceful, and then you see downstairs chaos.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a wonderful cast as well. And,
Yeah.
you know, you've got Branson is your character.
Yeah.
I mentioned he's a chauffeur, so give us an idea of how does an Irish chauffeur fit into this very English affair?
Originally, he wasn't Irish at all.
Was he not?
No, he was going to be English, you know.
Okay.
And I went in for the audition, and I met the director, Brian Kelly, who was directing that block. And he's Scottish, and he was like, let's do it Irish. And I didn't want to do it Irish, because I was like, well, what if they don't cast me now? Because, you know, I'm going to come in with an Irish accent.
Whim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Julian, who I'd worked with before, said, no, that's great, actually, because then that gives me so much more scope in relation to that character.
Yeah.
So I went in, and I played the Irish chauffeur who's arrived and falls in love with the youngest daughter, Lady Sybil.
Yes.
And just doesn't give up, just keeps pushing that relationship, and eventually, at the end of the second series, he gets his way and he gets the woman.
And there's this whole thing about they decided to interweave the 1916 backdrop in Dublin, which is quite a curious thing. But that became because of you, obviously.
Yeah. It wasn't going to be in it at all.
Yeah.
And Julian just loves that. And he's that kind of writer as well, that if you give him something, he'll run with it as well. He's not afraid of doing it.
A lot of other Irish names in the cast.
A lot of Irish names, and everyone we always claim them. It's a bit like the Irish football team.
Yeah.
Kind of like, yeah, they're Irish.
Yeah.
We have Sophie McSheera, Siobhan Finneran.
Yes.
To name but a few,
and then you have
the
the two more obvious examples are people we know.
There you go,
here,
yeah. You've got Brendan Coyle and...
Maria
Doyle Kennedy.
Yeah. So there, and and we have my dear friend.
That one. Yeah. Like when you meet someone on the road and you go, oh, you.
Yeah. How's it all going? We were talking to Damien McGinty early on about the schedule. Jeepers, I mean, it's 4 in the morning and he's there till midnight. I mean, is it similar for you on Downton Abbey?
It was similar on Downton because I was doing a play at the same time, doing the second series. So I was literally up at 6, filmed till about 4, straight in the car to go to do the play, and then back up for 6.
But I suppose that's how you succeed. It's hard work. You have to work your back.
I love it. I absolutely love it, yeah. And, you know, the one thing about being an actor, you spend so much downtime. Yeah. But when you actually have work, you just do it and you do it and you do it. So I'm not afraid of that at all.
I don't want to leave the Downton chat without mentioning the ladies. The ladies.
Because
they're very much the ladies. And there they are. I mean, they seem to have caught the imagination of certainly the British press, if nothing else.
They did, yeah.
They did. What did your brother do to get you into the stew?
My brother maybe said something that wasn't true and then accidentally said it to a reporter when he thought he was just talking to a random hunter.
And what did your mouthy brother say?
My mouthy brother said that I was going out with Jess, who is at the...
On our left here.
On the left of that photo, yeah.
And then that got into the papers?
Got into the papers, which was an awkward conversation when I rang Jess and went, "Hi, Jess." She was like, "Hey, Al, how are you?" And I went, "So apparently we're going out."
Yeah.
And she went, "All right, well, I'm in South Africa right now." And I'm like, "You see, if we were going out, I'd know that."
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah, so we had a bit of a laugh about it.
Okay,
and, yeah, it's all fine.
But it was a bit of a kerfuffle at the time.
It was, for nothing. But it kind of shows how big the show is. And it came home to me, you know, because I was like, why would anyone be interested in what my brother says, you know? But then you realise that, you know...
It is a
when
popular
12 million people watch the show, just
Is it that much?
12 million in the UK, yeah.
Because I loved, back in Once Upon a Time, Brideshead Revisited, which this, to me, is the best costume, if you want to drama, if you want to call it that, since then. And maybe people are... that was the 80s. Now we're in this recession vibe, and people obviously just want that escapism. And
yeah, I think it is, and it is pure escapism as well. And it's perfect, as Julian Fellows says himself, it's perfect Sunday night TV.
Yes.
And it is, you know.
I saw one paper calling it posh soap, which I thought was quite a good.
Yeah, we don't like that either.
Oh, do you not like that?
No, Julian doesn't like it. I don't mind it. But he's like, we certainly aren't a soap, darling.
Yes, you know, yeah, okay. You're back for more, obviously, with the...
We start the third series on February 13th, yeah.
Okay, and I presume it's open doors for you. Where have you gone since then?
Well, the Christmas special is on Christmas Day.
Yes.
On ITV. And unfortunately, I'm not in that, though.
Well, so we won't watch that.
Yeah, exactly.
And other opportunities for you then? You've been filming other bits and pieces?
Yeah, I just finished filming The Sweeney, which is the film version of the TV show that was made famous in the 70s.
There was it, Dennis Waterman and John Paul.
That's it, yeah.
So you're the next generation?
Yeah, now it's Ray Winston and Plan B, who was Ben Drew, who Strickland Banks was his album. Plan B, yeah. And I play Simon Ellis, who was one of the flying squad. So
how was that?
It was amazing. We took over Trafalgar Square for 3 days, and literally had a gun battle through it, which it's like a boy's dream, you know. I'm standing there, you know, and you're given your SIG P226.
Yes,
like that.
You know your stuff.
I do.
Yeah, you know.
I only know it now.
Yeah,
but standing there, and they're like, "Leechy, stop smiling." This is so much fun. You know, you're supposed to be terrified. I know.
And are you Irish again? Or are you going all
Irish
English?
again? No,
are you?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so Irish.
The whole idea is it's brought into like 2011, 2012.
Sure.
So you know, it's a multicultural flying squad now. So.
Oh, I see what you mean. So they've updated it, which makes sense too. Yeah. Man About Dog, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember that film with fondness?
I loved that movie.
Did you?
It was great fun.
Let's take I wonder, should we look at the clip first, or?
I know what you want to do. I know what you want to do.
Do you know what why don't you tell them?
What is that clip you're going to show? It wouldn't involve a dog, would
it? Involve you in bed with the dog.
It involved me in bed with the dog. Yeah, I thought it might. I suppose the reason you bring that clip up is because you want to know how I managed to keep that dog calm in a bed.
In manner of speaking, yes.
Yeah. Because when we were filming it, again, it was running over and over because greyhounds aren't naturally accustomed to lying in double beds with 2 men. And
we'll explain in a minute, but keep going.
Yeah, and the dog handler was like, came up to me and said, "Alan, the best way to keep a dog calm in bed." And I stopped and went, "There's so much wrong with that sentence, but we'll come back to that." Yeah, you know, you're like,
how do you know?
Right, exactly. What's the second best way? But she said, "The best way is if you just take your hand now and place it on the dog's testicles." Yeah, go on. Just give them a light fondle. He'll be as calm as anything. The director came up and I went, "Are you for real? I actually have to..." Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, we have to get this shot. We have to be out of this location. You're just going to have to do it."
It worked like a dream, Alan.
Yeah. But I mean, you
really are a hands-on guy.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to have a look at the clip?
Yeah.
You do now, don't you? Where's that woman clapping? Okay.
She owns a greyhound.
Okay. Let's have a look at this.
We'll give him a good rub down and we'll put him to bed.
I did a lot of head movement there. It was like, yeah. When I opened my eyes after that clip, I swear to God, the dog was like this. Well, you could have brought me for a drink, or.
Okay. Well, it's a long way from what were you? The Lion and the Wizard of the What?
That's where I started. Yeah.
Is that where you started? Okay, beat it with the dog. Get rid of the dog.
It's scaring me now.
Look at his eye. He looks quite satisfied.
Or terrified. He's like, my God, a different species.
No, he looks happy.
Yeah.
The Wizard of Oz, because that what you were into. Were you Amdram?
No, I
jazz
started
hands?
in St. Michael's, where I was in
school, okay.
And I played the Lion, the Wizard of Oz at 11. And the lady who actually directed that play, I'm delighted to say, is in this audience somewhere.
And her name is?
Maura Cranny.
Oh, give us a wave, Maura. Where are you? Ah, look,
there she is,
Maura
yeah.
Cranny. Welcome.
And
It's lovely.
no, I'm delighted she's here, you know.
Did you invite her in?
I did, yeah.
Isn't that a lovely thing to do?
No, yeah, because
Welcome, Maura.
Yeah, she kind of coached me all the way up until I left school.
Can I ask you, Maura, did you realise you were dealing with greatness when you met him early?
Oh, I did, very much so. He was very talented, and he was a great worker.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget him as the lion in The Wizard of
Really?
Oz. His interpretation for one so young. And he played with his best friend here, Donal, in a very fine play called The Bluebird by Maeterlinck. And there I saw the talent.
There it was.
And the dedication.
Well, it's lovely
And
to see.
he was quite splendid, and I'm very honoured to be here as his guest tonight.
Yeah.
And to congratulate both his parents, because they were very important to encouraging him when he was in 5th year playing Shakespeare.
Right.
And making up his mind, I think. He always wanted to go to the theatre. Okay. And Donal went off on another road. But he was splendid,
It's
and
lovely.
he had a great sense of energy and
Okay,
work.
thank you, Maura. Well done. Okay. Okay. Well, I have to say, those lovely comments are going to cost you a fortune, Alan.
Yeah, I know. I was
that's-
counting out 50s for every word
every
there.
word,
I'm like,
yeah.
here we go.
That's a lot of 50s. Yeah. But it was lovely, and it's lovely of you to invite Maura to
yes,
show.
it's
Anyway,
wonderful.
Christmas, you're home, and you're going to have a bit of fun.
Christmas with the
obviously.
Leeches, yeah.
That sounds wrong too. But obviously it's Christmas with the Leeches,
Yeah.
and that's in a nice way, a family way. And projects-wise, what's the biggest thing we can expect?
Back to Downton.
Oh,
And
Downton.
the Sweeney, yeah, and another movie called In Fear that I just filmed in Cornwall.
Right. I have a feeling we'll be meeting on in these circumstances again. Alan,
Hopefully,
continued
yeah.
success. Lovely
Thank
to
you
see
very much.
Alan Leech, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Great to see you. Excellent.